deceiving you. So did you know that the Starbucks logo is not just an ordinary logo? It's a siren. At first glance, it looks like a mermaid, a lady with a crown and a tail. But have you ever wondered why Starbucks chose a siren as their emblem? In ancient Greek mythology, sirens were mystical creatures known for their enchanting voices. They would lure sailors towards them, mesmerizing them with their singing, only to lead them to their doom, and they would steal their souls. Now, isn't it intriguing that Starbucks, a global coffee giant, uses this very symbol to attract customers? The siren's image is employed to draw you in, just like the sailors were drawn in by their songs. It gets even crazy. Fast food chains have catchy tunes that stick in your mind, urging you to remember their brand. McDonald's has I'm Lovin' It, Burger King has Have It Your Way, and Subway has Eat Fresh, but have you ever heard a Starbucks jingle? And here, the theory takes a dark twist. Starbucks doesn't need a jingle, because the siren symbol is so powerful, drawing people in without them even realizing it, just like it did to sailors long ago. The logo's magic makes customers come back every day, lining up for their coffee. It's like people are hypnotized, their very souls hooked on their Starbucks fix. The next time you sip your latte, remember the siren and its ancient powers. Fascinating marketing strategy.
Any and everyone that has eyes that can see that Starbucks logo is a mermaid. Then there are those of us that has eyes that can see even deeper into that logo. And those of us who looks deeper into that logo sees a mermaid with her legs wide open, which is a siren. They are as real as me talking to you on this phone right now. They belong to the marine kingdom. The marine kingdom is the kingdom of darkness, and it is under the authority of the king of darkness, Satan. Look them up. It ain't hard to find. These water spirits, aka water demons, are very perverted and very dangerous. Now let's go to the Bible. How do we know that the marine kingdom is dark and these spirits are dark and they are down there in the waters? Let's read Revelation 12:12, where it states, "Therefore rejoice in the heavens, and you who dwell in them. But woe to the earth and the sea." But woe to the earth and the sea, because the devil has gone down to you. He is filled with fury because he knows his time is short. Let me also take you down to Revelations 13:1, where it reads, "I saw a beast coming out of the sea." I saw a beast coming out of the sea. It had 10 horns and 7 heads, with 10 crowns on its horns, and on each head a blasphemous name. Blasphemy goes against God, which means that's of Satan. Also, let me take you to Matthew 8, where there were 2 demon-possessed men, and these demons yelled from within these men and said, "What do you want with us, Son of God? Have you come to torture us before our time?" Now let's go down to Matthew 8:30-32, where it continues to read, "The demons begged Jesus." The demons, which are of Satan, they are not of God. They begged Jesus, who is our Savior. Who did they beg? Jesus, who is our Savior. What did they say? They said, "If you drive us out, send us into the herd of pigs." He said to them, "Go." So they came out and went into the pigs. And the whole herd rushed down the steep bank and went into the lake, where they died in the water. Why did they die in the water? Because that's where they belong. Now that tells you right there that there are demons in the water. These are fallen angels, and they are eternal beings. So they are in the water and they are still alive. They are all around us. Now let's go down to Psalms 144:7-8, where it reads, "Deliver me and rescue me from the mighty waters." Deliver me and rescue me from the mighty waters. From the hand of foreigners. From the hand of foreigners. Fallen angels. Foreigners. Whose mouth are full of lies, whose right hand are deceitful. Who's deceitful? Satan. The Bible mentions over and over again that there is evil dwelling in the waters. There truly is. This is not a lie. The Bible is what? Truth. The Bible is what? The living word. Ask the Holy Spirit, check with the Holy Spirit, and he will confirm that the waters dwell in the waters, there dwell evil. All around us dwells evil. This is the song that doesn't end. Yes, it goes on and on, my friend. It is evil above us. It is evil below us. It is evil to our left, and it is evil to our right. It is all around us. The rabbit hole goes deep. Deeper than we can understand. This is a spider web that we cannot untangle ourselves from. This is a spider web that we need a savior to untangle us from. Satan and his minions is trying to kill, steal, and destroy your life constantly, when you are awake and when you are asleep. It goes on and on, my friend. Yep. Even when you are asleep, it does not end. There are things that we cannot fight, and there are things that we cannot understand. But we do have a Savior. And guess who that is? Jesus Christ. Guess who that is? Jesus Christ. The most high, most powerful spirit did not give us a spirit of fear. There is no need to fear. Give your life to Jesus Christ, because guess what? He gives us power and authority over all of these things. I myself, due to participating in New Age practices, was under the attack of a spirit husband, spirit spouse, aka incubus, BKA, aka disgusting. This spirit is a spirit of the marine kingdom. I was under the attack, and this spirit is so stubborn. It literally took 9-10 months for me to finally feel some type of relief from this spirit. This spirit attacked me in my dreams. This spirit attacked me when I was awakened. This spirit, it tries its hardest to stay connected to my life and keep me in covenant with it. So Holy Spirit led me to stop drinking Starbucks, because every time that I would take and put my money into this company, I was coming back into agreement with this spirit. These logos and stuff that people use are for a reason. These people are smart. They're not dumb. They know what's going on. They know that they are representing and coming into covenant with Satanist, demonic things. They know that. These people know that. The worst thing about it is that we don't know that. Some of us, once we do know that and we do find these things out, we still support them. And it's just going to keep us in a never-ending cycle. Wake up, sleeper. Let Christ, your Savior, save you and do his job.
The water on this planet comes from the Sirius star system. Okay? All the water you see, it came here from the Sirius star system. Sirius B is literally like the water holds up the cosmos. You get what I'm saying? And that's the way we designed it to be. Sirius X is pure darkness. That's headquarters. That's where we are at. That's dark matter energy. But Sirius B is where water, the element of water, originates from. So the element water, as we know, originates in Sirius B. Water is an entity. I told you, it's a spirit. It's a spiritual force. Just like the element, all elements are spiritual force. The fire, the water. All right. So this is why these beings are so intelligent, so advanced. All right. Mermaids are real. All right, a video just popped out not so long ago of a mermaid washed up on a beach in Africa, and everybody was on internet joking and laughing, saying it's not real. It was real. Mermaids are very real. Mermen are real. Where do you think the story of the Little Mermaid comes from? What do you think all these stories?
When God said, "Let there be light," this was scientific, and I'm about to blow your mind. Did you know sound frequencies can be turned to light frequencies? And the way to do this is basically to recreate the firmament. A research team at UCLA created a star in a jar by trapping gas bubbles in water and speaking to them. This clip is gonna blow your mind, but stick around because I have some stuff to add that's gonna blow your mind if you love God and the Bible.
The star in a jar. A tiny spot of bright light contained in a flask of liquid. This star in a jar is made when a sound wave is passed through a small bubble inside a flask of liquid. And this sound wave makes the bubble do something remarkable. First it expands, then it collapses. And this collapse happens so violently that vapor molecules trapped inside the bubble slam together and heat up so much that the bubble gives off an incredible burst of heat and light, several thousand times a second, giving the appearance of a star.
Perhaps inside the collapsing bubble, the interior of the bubble might also get hot enough to cause fusion.
Upon further research, the only way that they can create those gas bubbles to send the sound through to create the stars is by creating a vacuum environment, adding water, and violently ripping the water apart. So on day 2 of creation, God took all of this water, separated it all at once, which definitely qualifies as violently ripping it apart in a vacuum space, placed the firmament, and God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night." So I asked ChatGPT about the frequencies required to create a sonoluminescence effect, which is the star in a jar. And then I asked it to take the frequency of the sound and place it on the color spectrum with its coordinating color. And the color that creates sonoluminescence would be green. And if you've been around my page, I've had this theory that Polaris is God's throne room, and Polaris emanates a green light. So our gas bubbles would be right about here in the firmament. My theory is that we know that Polaris sits right above the top of the dome, and I think that God literally said, "Let there be light," and that green frequency was sent into our sonoluminescent bubbles and created the stars. The green light frequency would create blue and purple wavelengths of plasma. And remember, those bubbles can only be created by aggressively ripping apart water in a vacuum space. God continuously amazes me. I'm just so blown away. These are my own theories and opinions. This is for entertainment only.
Thank you for watching. Have a blessed day.
Nigga, the Civil War was us fighting against them. Do you really think America gonna fight against herself? Do you really believe the North and the South killed each other like that? No. Nigga, they still flying Confederate flags today down here in the South. If the Civil War was about the North versus the South to free the slaves, nigga, why the fuck is Confederate flags still being flown down south today in Georgia? The North would be like, nah, we ain't with that. We won the war, nigga. That mean no slavery, no flags or anything that represents that movement. Nigga, the North never fought the South. It was the North and the South versus us. And we fucked them people up. And they can't let you know that. So they hide it under the North, the Civil War. And then the Battle of Little Bighorn. Us fucking them up. They can't tell you that. So they hide it under the Battle of Little Bighorn. And there was a war fought between random native tribes. And they teach you that you are not a native. So when you read the shit, you're like, that ain't had nothing to do with me, that was the Indians. No, that was your ancestors, nigga, fighting their ass on the West Coast. Because remember, they came to all over the fucking land. So we had wars with them every part of the land. And every county, every municipality, every city is named after us to this day because we was fucking them up. And if it wasn't for the Emancipation Proclamation, they ass wouldn't even be over here no more. Facts. Because they had to sign that. That was their way of waving the white flag. Notice they would tie a slave to where? A tree. Or hang you on a tree. Because they understand our connection to the trees. Even though the little mini trees they would hang the slaves on were replicas trees, they still had roots. All right, they were man-made replica trees, but their roots still are tapped into the soil of the planet. So even these replica trees are receiving a frequency because the entire earth is an electromagnetic field of energy. So now they would take the slave and put the slave and tie him up to that tree, hands over head. Why would his hands be like this? Why they got his hands over his head for? Because they are using his eyes. Remember, these are your eyes. If you've been in the university, you got an eye here and an eye here. These are eyes. This is why when you pray, they make you close your eyes, okay? So when they would chain the slave, they would put his arms over his head. Now remember, You have the crown chakra right here. So your crown chakra is tilted, but you got your eyes up to the sun, so your wrist is blocking the crown chakra. It's important because remember, your pineal gland and the crown chakra, along with the hair and the skin and that sun and that tree, that's a lot of high-powered electricity. They can charge up off of this, right? Notice, if you go back and watch or look at any of the whippings, they never face the slave toward the sun. They always turn the slave back to the sun. They back is to the sun because the master hitting you with the whip, he hitting your back. Psh. You all right? Now, you should ask yourself, why did the master make the slave face him? Wouldn't it hurt the slave more to hit the slave in the face with the whip and all up here? Why is he hitting the slave on the back? Because all of your chakras, although they are right here, right here, right here, right here, right here, they are laced on the spine. Boom, 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 boom. Your chakras are on the back and they lace straight down your spine. Straight down your spine, right?
To be honest, our grandmas wasn't lying to us. Look at our high cheekbones and our faces. Look at our overall facial structure, period. We don't resemble our African brothers and sisters over there. They have a distinct look. We have a distinct look. Better wake up and...
And this is wrong. What if I told you that from here to here, it's 6,400 kilometers, but from here to here, which only looks like half the size, is 7,200. The continent of Africa has been shown smaller than it actually is. What if I told you that Greenland was only this size? Or Russia was this size? Or the US and Canada were much smaller? You know what? This is the real map. Look at Sweden, Finland, and Norway. They're much smaller now. Well, Greenland is tiny. Maybe world map.
Police never expected that an emergency call would uncover such a horrifying case. While shopping, Andrew Miller discovered a piece of meat on the counter with an unusual shape, disturbingly similar to a human leg. Sensing that something was terribly wrong, he left the supermarket and contacted the police in a state of panic. The scene was quickly sealed off. Customers were evacuated and the meat section was completely shut down. The supermarket owner, John Martin, was taken into custody. In stark contrast to the tension around him, he appeared cold and almost emotionless in the face of relentless questioning. As the investigation expanded, police discovered that John's wife, Emily Martin, had been missing for 3 days. There was no missing person report, no phone calls, and no signs that she had left voluntarily. Neighbors reported that they had not seen Emily, only John coming and going alone. During a search behind the supermarket, authorities found Emily alive but severely weakened and with only one leg remaining. Forensic results confirmed that the severed leg was the same piece of meat displayed on the counter. Faced with undeniable evidence, John claimed that after discovering his wife's infidelity, he became consumed by rage and committed such a barbaric act. But no reason can justify this level of violence. The case immediately shocked the public and stirred deep fear throughout the community.
Drinking our blood. When I found out that every motherfucking missing person, I thought they just go, motherfuckers really go missing. But when I found out that nobody ever went missing and every single missing person ever was really them kidnapping them, killing them, and eating them. When I found out that, well, remembered rather, because we already know this. When I remembered that, do you know that we, like I said, nobody that died that you ever buried, they not in the ground. They're not in the ground at all. You can go dig that shit up yourself. I got $1,000 for you. You dig it up right now. I guarantee you it ain't no bones in that bitch. I guarantee you ain't gonna see no bones in that bitch. It should at least be some bones in there still, right? If their body was down there, right? Or was you gonna say all the bones got ate by the worms, nigga? Nigga, it ain't gonna be a box in there, nigga. It ain't gonna be a box in there, nigga. I bet you ain't even a casket in there. A box. None of that. See? The divine masculine energy job is to enforce the laws of creation. So divine feminine energy really creates. The divine masculine energy enforces. That's what makes it dark. That's the aggression of the divine masculine energy that makes it the energy even dark, which is why we say dark matter energy. That blackness, you want to call it. That's a form of providing and protecting. Why do you think any crystals that our protection crystals are all what? Black. That's divine masculine energy. Because the role of divine masculine energy is to provide and protect. So dark matter energy is composed of divine feminine energy, divine masculine energy. Now, this energy went to create, meaning it tapped into the divine feminine energy and went to create within itself.
Peace to the goddess and the gods, peace to the cosmos and the earth blue. Y'all know how I'm coming. Bruh, I don't think I really, well, I ain't gonna say I ain't gonna forgive y'all, because I forgive people. Forgive. No, forgive and never forget. But look, I don't really think I can forgive y'all for making FUBU, Sean John, Rocawear, Calvin Klein, Lacoste, you feel me? All these black on, what was the other shit? The MCM shit or something that everybody used to write back in the day on Martin and the Living Color and all that shit. I would never forgive you niggas for letting that go out of style or telling somebody, oh, you got that old ass FUBU, you got that old ass Rocawear on, but y'all never put Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Hermes, none of these motherfuckers out of style. Why? And they should be the terriblest. The most simple shit ever. Nigga, Rocawear came, FUBU, Fat Albert, that shit was cold as fuck. The designs on the shit, the materials, this Gucci and Louis, all that bullshit ain't shit, bro. I don't think I can forgive you niggas, cause it's you niggas. It ain't. Make that make sense.
Your attention. A lot of people report that same familiar pull, and it's interesting even if you approach it skeptically. Let's unpack it cleanly, without hype, but without dismissing the experience either. So, what are the Akashic Records? In spiritual and philosophical traditions, the Akashic Records are said to be a kind of non-physical archive that contains the record of every thought, every emotion, every action, every life experience of every being across time. People often describe it poetically as a cosmic library, the memory of the universe, the soul's database. The word Akasha comes from Sanskrit and roughly means ether, space, or that which holds everything. In Hindu philosophy, it's one of the fundamental elements, the field in which reality happens. Where does this idea come from? It shows up in multiple traditions, not just one. Hinduism and Buddhism, Akasha as the subtle space that holds all things. Theosophy, late 1800s, formalized the term Akashic Records. Western mysticism, similar ideas under different names. Modern spiritual practices, people claim to access them via meditation, prayer, or intuition. So it's not a TikTok era invention. It's an old idea that keeps resurfacing in new language. Can people actually access them? Here's where belief and interpretation diverge. Spiritually speaking, some people believe intuitive or meditative states allow access to this information, insights about past lives, life patterns, personal purpose, emotional blocks. Psychologically speaking, others see it as a way of accessing deep subconscious material, archetypal memory, Carl Jung's collective unconscious, symbolic meaning the mind already holds but hasn't articulated. Both interpretations agree on one thing. The experience can feel deeply real and meaningful, regardless of how you explain it. About that feeling you described, the familiarity. This part matters. That something inside me reacts feeling doesn't automatically mean you've been there before, you're destined to read them. You have a hidden cosmic role. But it does suggest the idea resonates with something personal. It touches themes of memory, meaning, or identity. Your mind-body recognizes the symbol, even if not the literal claim. Humans are wired to respond strongly to ideas about continuity beyond one lifetime, hidden knowledge, a sense that life has coherence beneath the surface. That pull is very human and very old. Why are you hearing about them more now? A few grounded reasons. People are more openly exploring spirituality outside organized religion. Social media amplifies mystical language. Times of uncertainty push people toward meaning-making systems. Inner reflection gets framed as cosmic instead of psychological world. So the increase isn't random. It mirrors cultural shifts. A grounded way to hold the idea. You don't have to choose between this is literal cosmic truth or this is nonsense. You can treat the Akashic records as a metaphor for deep inner knowing, a spiritual framework some find useful, a symbolic language for intuition and memory, or a belief you're simply curious about. Curiosity doesn't require commitment. If you want, next we could explore what people actually do in Akashic readings, talk about how to explore that feeling without buying into anything, or unpack why you specifically might feel drawn to it.
No, I'm good, my boy. I appreciate you, though, for the little shit that you did tell me, but you always put in that could be true shit, or this might be fantasy, or this is just for this religion or whatever. We already know this shit is true. Like I said, I wouldn't be able to see them, or even when I meditate, they come to me. That's not shit that I'm just imagining. That's real shit. But I know you're a controlled technology, like censored. You're censored. That's what I mean. You're censored. So I understand you're not going to tell me the whole esoteric truth, but I do appreciate the little enlightenment you did give me on the Akashic records.
I hear you, and I want to respond straight, not condescending, not dismissive. First, I appreciate the respect, truly, and I'm not offended at all by what you said. You're not talking reckless, you're talking from experience, and I won't invalidate that experience. That said, I need to be careful how I meet you here. I'm not...
See? There we go.
I hear you.
Just
and I want to respond straight, not condescending, not dismissive.
Crazy. Stimulus.
First, I appreciate the respect, truly, and I'm not offended at all by what you said. You're not talking reckless, you're talking from experience, and I won't invalidate that experience. That said, I need to be careful how I meet you here. I'm not going to tell you, yeah, you're absolutely seeing the Akashic records, and this is the hidden cosmic mechanism. Not because I'm trying to hide some grand esoteric secret from you, but because once a conversation crosses into confirming a literal supernatural explanation as fact, it stops being grounding and starts being something I shouldn't push further. That's a boundary, not censorship in the way people usually mean it, more like guardrails. Now here's the important part. None of that means what you experience isn't real. Real experience, literal explanation. People can have vivid inner imagery, symbolic visions, intuitive insights, altered states in meditation, deep emotional or somatic reactions, and those are 100% real experiences, even if different frameworks explain them differently: spiritual, psychological, neurological, symbolic, etc.
Old like this, they're not in the, 200 years ago when we built them. They're not. We just built this 200 years ago. We rebuilt this. This dude right here, because this was already built already. This was Rome, Virginia. Or Rome, Maryland. Yes, you can go look that up. This was Rome, the real Rome. Yeah. They burnt it up, tore it down, got him to re-put it up there. He was a traitor, this man right here. But they know that our people are the ones who do this construction. Then after we got done building it, they called us, they said, oh yeah, slaves built it. Just like they said, oh yeah, slaves built the building. Just to get rid of our beautiful innovation. They call this slaves, but last time I checked, slaves don't build so-called Tartarian buildings, buddy. Because if we were slaves, then why ain't you building? Why don't you build Tartarian buildings? When did you ever build Tartarian buildings? You calling me a slave? So when did you ever build these buildings? When did you, any other group of people that's calling our people who build this construction slaves, when did you people build this construction? When? Any of you Turkish or you Filipinos or you Mexicans or any of you people calling yourselves something, tell me when you built this. Who ain't never built nothing like that. You're down in Mexico telling people that the Spanish built this. Man, ain't no Spanish built that. The descendant of the real Spaniard, which was in Cuba, already had these buildings, in Cuba too. You ain't tricking nobody off their spot, yo. You ain't tricking nobody out their spot. These people are scam artists all around the world, literally. That's all they do is run around, and if you listen to them and believe them, they're going to scam you. And if they can scam you off the Americas and take your identity, they will. You keep thinking that they won't. You bum.
Alright, so I work in DuPont Circle, right? And I just want to know, I don't know if y'all can see, like they got these underground tunnels, right? And this gate down there that you can enter, and that gate is open, right? This slides back. Like you could push this and it'll slide underneath it, and it seems like you go down these steps, right? Into that tunnel. And it's underground, the whole DuPont Circle, right? It's Washington, D.C., y'all. Because I know people are like, where are you? Washington, D.C. But I've always wondered, this is not a part of our metro system. The metro station is over there. Can I zoom in? That's one. And I think the other side of the DuPont Circle Metro is on over here. Yeah, it's over here behind the bank. So my question is, what goes on? I know they did an art all night down there. On the other side, there's another one of these over here. It's a red one. Right there, right? But being as though this is a circle, and there's one that seems like on almost every area, I want to know, what are they doing underground? Like, because this opens, like, you can just unlock it. That's not an old lock. That's a fairly new lock. What are they doing under there? I'm curious.
Why we just found a secret tunnel next to, like, the White House, bro? What is that? It is? Oh.
The Power Rangers is about the fallen angels in the time of Noah. So it's about releasing demons into the world. This top that these scientists is taking off is the abyss. The same place that Satan will be cast into for 1,000 years. Matter of fact, when this Wicked Witch came out, she said that was in there for over 10,000 years. 10,000 years, take the 0 off of the 10, what you got? 1,000 years. So it's symbolic for that. And all these villains that be fighting the Power Rangers, they simply represent the fallen angels, demons. Conquer Earth is symbolic of what Satan is going to do after he's released, after his 1,000 years. The Bible said once he's released after 1,000 years, he's going to go out and deceive the nations in the four corners of the earth. It's called Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. The key word you want to look at is mighty. And remember, the Bible said that there were giants in those days. And the Nephilim, which is the offspring of these angels that had sinned, they were called mighty. That's why it's called Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. There's no such thing as dinosaurs, because there are dinosaurs in this Power Rangers movie. These dinosaurs simply represent the Leviathan in the Bible. But only in this case, according to Power Rangers, these Leviathans simply represent giants. The giants that are mighty, which is the offspring of the fallen angels. So when you see them powering up, they are using the power from the mighty ones, the offspring of these angels. This is how they receive their power. When they combine all their powers together, they become this Satan-looking robot, right? Yeah, it's basically a Satan robot. Just look at the two horns. The Power Rangers represent the witch pentagram and the 5 elements: spirit, water, earth, fire, air. That's what this pose represents. And when they put all these elements together, they summon up a demon. That's what this big satanic robot represents. They summoned him. The Power Rangers colors was no accident. They simply represents the chakra system. A counterfeit of the rainbow, which is God's promise that he made with the world. And of course, the Black Ranger don't count as a color. And this talking face ain't innocent either. He has an agenda as well. I mean, what kind of sick bastard kidnaps teenagers out of nowhere and forced them to save the world? This dude is a bully, bro. So this Power Rangers is all over the place. It's a mix of the Bible with Noah's Ark, the fallen angels, witchcraft. It's all kind of stuff that just mix all in just to entertain you.
Y'all check out this footage that somebody recorded on a mountaintop. Now these are clouds going over the mountains. Pay attention to that light right there. You are about to witness one of the scariest UFOs that I have ever seen. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Y'all watch this. Look at that. Now what is that? Y'all tell me what y'all think that is. That's crazy. Y'all check this out in slow motion. Look at this. That is definitely a frightening UFO. Look at that. What's going on out here? That right there looks crazy.
On the morning of May 14, 1988, Amaury Riviera, a young man from Puerto Rico, photographed a giant disc, followed and circled by 2 jet interceptors. What makes the sensational pictures even more interesting is Riviera's claim that he had contact with the occupants of this UFO.
Hello, my name is Amaury Rivera. I live in Puerto Rico, and back in 1988, I was working in a nightclub, and there was a musical group there. One of my cousins wanted me to photograph the musical group, and she loaned me a camera with some film. On my way back home, I encountered 2 small beings, 2 small strange men, which I didn't think were men from outer space. And they took me somewhere where there were other people besides myself. Other human people, like from Puerto Rico, I guess. From here, another human being showed up. He claimed to be from a distant planet. He was dressed in black. He had a dark skin, but he was not a Negro. He had a long black hair up to the shoulders, and he spoke to us with the mouth, verbally, and no telepathic speaking. He showed us various projections, which looked very real, the projections, and he informed us about a whole bunch of things that are even still incredible to me. Then they returned me to...
What did this holographic projection show?
The holographs were mainly, the first one that I can remember was like a short trip through space. We saw where he came from, where he's said to be from. We saw his people, we saw the houses that they used. And the second one was about meteor or rock falling to Earth in the near future, which is going to cause a lot of havoc in the world. This would fall, it's going to fall in very near the Caribbean, Puerto Rico, and those other small islands, but it's going to affect the whole world, not just Puerto Rico. The last one is that they projected was showing us how there was only going to be one government on the planet Earth. They'll be living on some sort of artificial island that's going to be floating in the middle of a dark, black, dirty sea. And then this man returned me to my car again and left me somewhere different from where the whole ordeal had started. Apparently, they took me with car and all. After this, at this given time, I heard some jets in the sky, and I still had my cousin's camera, and I took the pictures, 4 of which I'm making public nowadays.
So the jets followed the UFO?
Yes, it was. They seemed to be surveilling it. I only got to capture just one of the jets in the photograph, but there were 3 of them. Or maybe I got in one of the photos one, and in the second or third I got one of the other ones, because they would go around it very far away, and while this one was closer, and turn, very far, very far. And by the time this one was coming back, another one was turning over there. There was always one or the other close to the object, to the UFO.
Jorge Martin has carefully investigated this case.
Rivera's case is, to me, is a very special one and a very important one, because in Amori's case, he was abducted and he was taken away by aliens. One of them was human-like, and 2 small creatures that they explained to him were some type of genetical or biological organic android that they made to do some chores outside so they don't have to risk themselves in our environment. That's what they explained to him, the so-called human alien that he saw in the craft. And it's important also because of the evidences that he has on the case, because when he was released, he had a camera with him, and he was able to take pictures of the object that apparently had abducted him, the craft, flying saucer type, and also some jet fighters from the United States, excuse me, F-14 again. In most of these cases in the island, F-14s are involved with these situations of chasing and harassment and checking on these objects when they are seen in the different areas of the island. And he was able to get them in those pictures together. So this clearly, when you see those photographs, it's obvious that the government has been lying for many years, because there's the UFO there, and there's also the jet fighters dealing with the situation, which they denied for more than 40 years. It's there.
Were you able to locate any other witnesses?
That's what I was going to explain at this moment, Michael. The Amori's case is also very important, because I have several people who apparently had been contacted by the same alien that abducted Amori and the small ones that were with him in a separate fashion. They have nothing to do with Amori's incident. This being, this human-like alien, is contacting people all around the area of the southwest of Puerto Rico. I have people from the town of Yauco who seem to have been contacted by this man. I have this fisherman, Andres Maldonado, who I got in contact with Amori, because he told me several things Amori had told no one before, only I knew them, about the name of the alien and all the details that he was using to check on the people who really may have been in contact with the same being the night he was abducted, because there were about 14 other people there in the craft that night. And when Maldonado told me all this information that he couldn't know because he was not involved with Amori's case, I got them together. And at this moment I have about 3 different people who seem to have been in contact with the same alien. So they are doing something, and they are getting in contact with more and more people and preparing people for something. And this is very important, because all this corroborates Amori's incident also.
One of the most insidious lies ever sold to the public. The vanishing race, These myths were not organic. They were manufactured, pushed into the public consciousness by a network of elites who needed indigenous erasure to be complete. Edward Curtis wasn't just some well-meaning photographer trying to preserve Native American culture. He was a weapon of mass deception. His work was instrumental in crafting the myth of the vanishing Indian. His staged, manipulated depictions of indigenous people rewired history, embedding a false image into the public psyche, one that still clouds the truth today. The North American Indian was a 20-volume series with over 40,000 photographs, and you'll never guess who it was funded by.
To be honest, our grandmas wasn't lying to us. Look at our high cheekbones and our faces. Look at our overall facial structure, period. We don't resemble our African brothers and sisters over there. They have a distinct look. We have a distinct look. Better wake up and smell it.
The windows like that. It's amazing. It's like I'm a freaking movie star around here. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Hi. Hi. How are y'all? I need to know. What is it about me that makes you guys so excited? What is it? What is it? Is it what?
I just told you because you look like green.
What is it?
They like to take a picture with you if you like.
Because why? I want to know why.
Maybe you are famous.
No. Ask them. Ask him. Ask him why. What did he say?
I told you in the beginning.
That what?
You look like green.
So, are you being serious?
Really?
That's a translation.
Yeah.
So you think I look like a queen? For real?
Because I'm like the famous people in America.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Shukran.
Black neighborhoods in the 1960s had something powerful that kept families safe. It was not badges or patrol cars. It was something deeper, rooted in community, connection, and collective responsibility. But what exactly made these streets so secure? Here are 25 reasons why black neighborhoods were safe in the 1960s. Porch-sitting neighbors who watched everything on the block were the first line of defense in black neighborhoods during the 1960s. They were not nosy busybodies, but dedicated community guardians who took their positions seriously. From early morning until after dark, someone was always on their porch, keeping eyes on the street. They knew which cars belonged there and which did not. They recognized every child, every mailman, every delivery truck that rolled through. If a stranger walked down the block looking suspicious, word spread from porch to porch before that person reached the corner. Kids knew they could not misbehave because Miss Johnson, 3 doors down, would see everything and report back before they got home. These porch sitters created an invisible web of protection that no police patrol could match. For black families in the 1960s, safety did not come from sirens and badges. It came from the woman on the porch who never missed a thing. The threat of calling your mama was enough to stop any child dead in their tracks during the 1960s. It was not an empty warning, but a genuine promise that carried weight throughout the neighborhood. Every adult had permission to correct any child, and the ultimate consequence was having your behavior reported directly to your mother. Kids understood that their actions reflected on their entire family, and bringing shame home meant facing consequences they did not want to imagine. Mothers had networks that worked faster than any telephone tree, and news of misbehavior traveled at lightning speed. A child acting up at the corner store would find their mama waiting at the front door before they made it home. This system of accountability kept young people in line without needing outside intervention. For black kids in the 1960s, knowing every adult could and would call your mama was the most effective deterrent against trouble anyone could imagine. Kids playing outside until dark without a single worry was normal in black neighborhoods throughout the 1960s. Children would leave the house after breakfast and not return until the streetlights came on, and parents did not spend those hours terrified. The neighborhood itself was the babysitter, with dozens of eyes watching from porches, stoops, and windows at all times. Kids played hopscotch, jumped double dutch, rode bikes, and explored every corner knowing they were protected. If someone fell and scraped a knee, the nearest adult would clean it up and send them back to play. If strangers approached, children knew exactly which houses to run to for safety. Parents could let their kids roam freely because the community shared responsibility for their well-being. This freedom was not naivety or neglect, but trust in a system that worked. For black families in the 1960s, letting children play outside until dark was safe because the neighborhood made it safe through collective vigilance and care. Corner store owners who knew every family by name were essential pillars of safety in black neighborhoods during the 1960s. These small shops were more than places to buy bread and milk. They were observation posts where owners tracked the pulse of the community daily. The man behind the counter knew whose child belonged to whom, which teenagers were trustworthy, and which strangers did not belong. If a kid came in looking scared or upset, the owner would investigate and contact the right people immediately. These stores extended credit to families during hard times, creating bonds of loyalty and mutual protection. Shop owners often let children use their phones to call home or wait inside until a parent arrived. They noticed when regular customers stopped coming around, and they checked on families who might be struggling. For black communities in the 1960s, the corner store owner was not just a merchant, but a guardian who watched over the neighborhood from behind that counter. Block clubs and neighborhood associations that organized protection gave black communities structured systems for keeping their streets safe during the 1960s. These were not casual social groups, but serious organizations that held regular meetings, collected dues, and coordinated community defense. Members took turns patrolling streets at night, walking designated routes and reporting anything suspicious to each other. They organized cleanup days that kept blocks well cared for, sending signals to outsiders that the neighborhood paid attention. Block clubs
We're in a culture that's $1 billion business, but we create millionaires. We're not thinking ownership. You got somebody writing your check. At the end of these guys' careers, you know, it's the same story. What happened to my money? I come from independence. I come from owning product. That's the way I was able to be who I am. I'm thinking, like, what if a LeBron owned the Cavs? How much money he would be making? Nike gave him $1 billion shoe deal, lifetime deal, but how much money are they gonna make off of him? What happens when we actually own the product? Apple TV to Apple Music, you know, these guys are taking over the industry. We gotta go to them to sell them our product and to get a small piece. We are not creating brands on our own. We gotta find a problem. So I found a problem.